There was like an episode where someone peed on the floor. That happened in real
Nice. Nice. Probably sitting there going like, nobody's going to believe this shit.
This is nothing like, yeah.
Hi, everyone. I am Todd Butera. I am a founding member of New Ambassadors Theater Company. I am also your host for the upcoming reading of Perryn Pomatto's hysterical new web series, This Encounter May Now Begin. It'll air on New Ambassadors' YouTube channel on Thursday, October 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just so you know, you can log on to that and become a part of that, and it will remind you of when it's going to be on and play for you. And I believe I got that right, and Perryn will confirm that for me, because I am now here with the writer and creator of This Encounter May Now Begin, Perryn Pomatto. Welcome, Perryn.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's good to be had. As
always. As always, right?
So what is this about? What is This Encounter May Now Begin? What is this all about? I'm assuming, number one, that's what they say when they do this, right?
At the very beginning of every single encounter, they say, "This encounter may now begin."
That's a hoot. Now explain yourself.
I got this weird job like 12 years ago where I answered an ad in backstage for standardized patients. And I went out to Newark and interviewed for this company, and they hired me. Basically, what it comes down to is we pretend to be patients for various doctors.
This is basically teaching them bedside manner, correct?
Right. Yeah, basically.
So you're people that might have like chronic diseases or diseases that are terminal. So this is, how do they tell the person? How do they say these things? How do they deal with things that say, I don't know, not to be graphic, but someone's talking about something hurting with their genitalia. So how do they say?
And I played that case. Just about every day. There's like something where I'm just like, you know, what? Like, you know, like I had a guy, you know, I was playing ED, right? And so then, you know, I was like,
what's ED?
Erectile dysfunction, sorry.
All
medical
right,
terminology, something I tell people not to do, right? So erectile dysfunction. So I'm like, you know, oh, well, you know, I'm having trouble, you know, getting it up. And, you know, and the doctor who's trying to be empathetic to me, right? He's like, and he's 24, mind you, like he's like a medical student. And he's like, oh, so, you know, you shouldn't be embarrassed about that. A lot of people have that problem, including me.
Oh God, I hope that makes it into an episode.
Well, and it got better because then like later on at the end, you know, I was like, well, you know, can I get some Viagra or something? And he was like, well, do you think you need that like medically or physically, or do you think you need it just like, you know, recreationally? And I was like, well, I'm pretty sure like physically. And he was like, oh, well, because my brother uses it recreationally. So I was just wondering.
No, he said this? How much of this is true? Are we looking at 75% of what you wrote?
So a lot of the encounters with the doctors are based on real things. So that is true. But the overall arc that ends up happening, I mean, obviously is not, well, I'm not going to tell, I guess I won't tell everyone, but you know, that's not true. But the actual encounters themselves, yes. There was like an episode where someone peed on the floor. That happened.
Nice.
We walked out for our break, and there was like a big puddle of urine on the floor, and I was just like, oh my God.
You're telling the actor you're not supposed to actually pee. Wow. So I was going to say, what inspired you to write this piece? But obviously you were probably sitting there going like, nobody's going to believe this shit.
This is nothing like, yeah. No, well, I mean, like for years, I was like, oh my God, this is like ripe for this, right?
Why should people tune in other than to maybe pee on their own floors because it's funny?
Honestly, I mean, I hope it's really funny. I mean, everyone seems to enjoy it. I think it's timely, and, you know, besides just being about a subject and a job and whatever that a lot of people don't know, or if they do know about it, they're all like, oh, like that Seinfeld episode, right? And I'm always like, yeah. I've never actually seen that episode, but yes, apparently.
I didn't know it existed.
Kramer was apparently a SP on an episode of Seinfeld, and so
wow.
So that's their only reference, and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly it. But outside of that, I mean, you know, it deals with a lot of things in terms of people fighting for their jobs, which is something that's happening right now. People trying to learn how to communicate. I mean, which is what we're all trying to do, right? Like we're all trying to
Yeah.
figuring out how to communicate with each other in ways that, are effective. Even though it's a very niche thing, it's still, I think, pretty universal.
Sounds great. So Perryn Pomatto, everyone, writer and creator of This Encounter May Now Begin. Thank you so much for your time. Again, This Encounter May Now Begin airs October 28th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. New Ambassadors Theaters Company, let me say that again. New Ambassadors Theater Company YouTube channel, hosted by me. Hopefully, I'll get my tongue in order, and it'll be yeah, whatever. Anyway, I hope to see everybody there. Perryn, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And good night, everybody. I will see you on the 28th.
See you on the 28th. Bye-bye.